Hey there, I'm George Toby, photographer, filmmaker, entrepreneur, and fellow creative to many of you, and welcome to Coffee and Creatives. This podcast is for coffee drinkers and creative thinkers, those who love to enjoy a good cup of coffee as well as great conversation. Each week, I sit down with artists, entrepreneurs, and makers to talk about the real creative process, what inspires them, what challenges them, and what keeps them going. So if you're into creativity, coffee, and honest conversation, come and hang out with us on Coffee and Creatives. Welcome back to another episode of Coffee and Creatives. This week, we have another special guest, Jesse Smith, joining us on the podcast. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
We're going to dive into a lot of things about tattoos. Obviously, that's a huge thing of mine, which has definitely come up in the podcast. And for those listening, Jesse is actually my artist that I go to for all of mine and all the future stuff that I will have. So before we dive further, why don't you just let me know your name, even though I've already said it, what you do, which I've kind of already said, and then a little bit of your perspective into our relationship.
My name is Jesse Smith. I work at Perfect Image in Waterloo. I met you years ago because of tattooing, and it's been an interesting process. I know that we started out smaller, and we keep getting bigger and bigger. We started out with just line work, and now we're actually doing some shading, and I feel like it's just going to keep getting larger scales.
Yeah. I got the whole plan for it.
Yes,
it's going to keep going. There's going to be a lot to come. How did you get into tattooing? Did it start with tattooing, or was there another lane of artistry that started before that?
Yeah, when I started tattooing, this was a long time ago. It was probably almost 30 years ago, 27 years ago. I did stick and poke on myself when I was 16.
Yeah.
But I had drawn my whole life. I think I just did stick and poke on myself because I was bored one day, and I tried it. I never even thought of becoming a tattoo artist. I did odds and end jobs. And then one day I got a real tattoo, and I was like, wait, why did I never think of this? And then I pursued it. I grinded. I was hungry. I never apprenticed because I couldn't find any place because there was one shop in every town instead of now there's like 30, where I feel like it's a little bit easier to apprentice.
Yeah.
So I ordered a machine outside of the back of a tattoo magazine, sent to COD, and got it and practiced on myself, on friends, got into a shop. And worked my way up and got tattooed by famous artists, like really good artists. If I wanted to learn color, I would go to a color artist. If I wanted to learn black and gray, go to a black and gray artist. Yeah, that was my process.
And when you started, did they have like the tattoo skin like they have now, like the practice skin? Was that kind of not a thing? So
they didn't have the synthetic skin.
Yeah, so it was just like practice on yourself.
Practice on yourself. There was never, and there was an endless supply of friends that would let you tattoo them.
Of course. Oh, free tattoo.
It's still like that, right?
Yeah.
Like I hear people's stories that they have friends in school or that are doing little stick and pokes, and everyone wants to get something from them.
Yeah.
But no, there wasn't synthetic skin. I did it on fruit, but it's not the same. Like that.
What would be the closest fruit that would replicate the skin the best?
None of them really, because they're so fragile and it just tears through the flesh of the fruit. So it doesn't, maybe an orange, but then it's just really awkward shaped. You could do a grapefruit. Yeah, now they have the synthetic skins. I've tattooed them a couple times and they're very, very hard to get the ink in.
Yeah.
So I let people know that if you're going to learn on one, don't go to the skin the same way you do on a synthetic skin, because you will tear up the skin.
Very
really
different.
Fast. Yeah, it's very different.
How would you describe your style? Like, would you say you have a defined style? I mean, for me, I went to you because I liked the realisticness that you have in, specifically for me, doing a full arm of roses and flowers and stuff. What would you kind of like point as like your favorite? Because I know you do a lot of different styles.
Yeah, I do it all. I went through a phase that, and probably the past 10 years, I really wanted to find a niche of a certain style that I could focus on and have a calling and have people fly in and be, they want me to do that style. But then I thought to myself, but then it's going to really limit me. And I enjoy one day I'll do a black and gray, like roses on somebody. And then later in the day, do a full color, American traditional piece. So it's so I enjoy all the styles. I don't do photorealistic, but I like doing everything in between. Like even just the small, delicate, simple, fast tattoos, I enjoy them all. Just I like the connection with the people and the stories and the energy, and yeah, making new friendships. It's nice. So,
Yeah. What's one of the best, if you can think of it, like one of the best stories you've heard from someone's tattoo? Like they kind of came to you with like, this is why I want to get this. Do you kind of have one that like pops out?
Yeah. Well, a lot of stories represent something for people. Um, yeah, I guess recently I had a client that was dealing with a lot of stuff with a family member, and they were getting something just to represent that place in their life to, I guess, kind of pinpoint what was going on so that they would never forget it. Or maybe just it was kind of like a release to kind of get past part of it, right? And after the tattoo was not very long, maybe 45-minute tattoo, we had good conversation. As soon as the needle touches someone's skin, they open up. Like it's like, they info dump. It's like full release. Yeah, it's so fun. And just to be able to hold the space for somebody. And by the end of it, they just looked me in my eye and they were like, thank you. Yeah, that really cleared some space and it was nice. Like it wasn't, like I tattoo so many different people and so many different stories, from like pets being like passing away, family members passing away, and they'll full cry while I'm tattooing them, even when I put a stencil on. And yeah, so there's like so many stories. There's funny stories. Like I had a guy that came in and wanted to play tic-tac-toe on his body.
Oh yeah.
And me and another artist put the stencil of the board, like just the pound sign. And the guy was like, yeah, just one person do the X's, one person do the O's,
That's
and whoever
awesome.
wins.
He didn't even want to do it.
No, he just said do it.
Yeah,
and
that's cool.
And yeah, it was so funny stories. There's always the funny stories. There's the sad stories, but yeah, it's an interesting career choice that I made. That yeah.
And what's the process like from starting the start of a tattoo? Like let's say like a big piece, like a big arm piece that someone's getting done. What's that process like for you when it starts to, like when someone comes and they're like, hey, I don't really know what I want. These are kind of the elements. And then you're like, okay, now I gotta see if like figure out how to put this together, how to piece it all, what the color is gonna look like. What's that process like for you?
Well, it's having a conversation with the person, sitting down and actually, engaging with them and listening to, what their story is about, because they usually have a really long story around why they want to get tattooed. The first thing is always where. Some people come in without that, and then it really limits what you can get. Like if you're getting like an elongated piece, like on an arm, you want it to be elongated so it flows the best with the body shape. So as long as they kind of know that first, we'll sit down. I'll take a picture of the area. Before iPads, we just draw on paper and just layer, draw. Take a tracing of their arm. Now I take an actual picture of their arm and draw on the picture of the arm. Let's say we're doing an arm, right? And then send them that. We'll go back and forth. They'll give me a theme. And then we just have phone consultations if they don't feel like coming in. And until they 100% love the outline that I designed for them. And then when they come in, I usually have some shaded mock-ups, like color mock-ups, just so they're not going in like, oh, what am I going to get? I like to, because a lot of people are really visual and I don't want them to stress, especially first-time people. I want them to have that before they get tattooed, to know what they're walking into, instead of being like, oh, I really hope I love this design.
Yeah. And do you ever have clients who don't take a liking to what you're doing, who decide to walk away or decide to find a different artist?
Yeah, I've had clients that we didn't click. Yeah, like a gentleman, this was probably 8 or 9 years ago, came in. We had a consultation. He wanted a full sleeve of some specific stuff. I ended up, everyone leaves a deposit for the drawing time. I ended up drawing a full sleeve. It took him many hours, and he wasn't into it. And I don't even think we had another conversation. He said, I decided to go with someone else, and I'm going to go there. And I was like, okay, fine. I'll keep your deposit for a year. If you decide you even want to come in and use it on like piercings or anything like that. And I don't know if he did, like, cause I'm not going to take his deposit. The drawing time for me, like it was 6 hours, 5 hours, whatever of drawing time. Yeah. But I think I wasn't upset. I was just like, oh, it gave me some practice. I could use this. I mean, I drew this if someone else wants this sleeve. Yeah. I never ended up doing the tattoo on anybody else, but I could. So.
Does it ever, like, did that get to you in the time at all? Like a frustration of like, oh, I spent like, you ever have those just like slight moments of like, oh, I just spent all this time working on this tattoo for a client and then they decide they don't want it?
Yeah, there's been times I've drawn up full sleeves for people, and then the day of the tattoo, they come in, they're like, "Actually, I changed my mind. Can I just get a script?" And I'm like, "Yes,"
Yeah.
but inside I'm like, "That sucks,"
Yeah.
but it's fine. And I came to the longer I've been tattooing, the less I let it bother me, because I remember, like, when I get tattooed, I'm picky. If I don't like the design, I went and flew out to San Jose, California one time and got a tattoo. And I didn't like the design the person drew. And good thing he drew really fast, because he sketched me up another one, and then we did that one. Yeah, because I'm not going to get it if I don't like it. So I came to realize that, I'm not going to force someone to get something. We can always reschedule them. And if they want something smaller, that's fine too. It's fine.
Yeah. I feel like every time and I tell this to Hadley, like every time I've gotten one from you, I'm like, most of the time I'm like 80% sure. And then as soon as I see it finished, I'm like, totally worth it.
Yeah.
Like 100%. I think there comes a trust with the client having to put trust in their artist as well, and their artist taking that role of telling them what works and what doesn't. And I've seen people get tattoos who I can very much tell from their tattoo that, like, their artist didn't be honest with them about maybe how it's going to look based on the size or where they put it, and then it ends up turning out really bad. And I can just tell by looking at it. I'm like, that turned out really bad.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's some people you can't. They're just gonna nitpick. It's gotta be specific here and there. Yeah, and which is fine. But sometimes it's not gonna work in certain parts of the body. That won't work. And you just, as long as you explain that, like if someone wants something super symmetrical on a part of the body that's not gonna work, I'll let them know. Like, you're going to need to put that on a flat part of your body. And if they're really adamant about doing it, I'll be like, yeah, this isn't the right fit, because I know that if they're that concerned about it in that moment, that they're going to be looking at it complete and they're just going to be like, no, that's not right. So, yeah.
What would you say is one time that you were the most stressed during a tattoo? And maybe a time like that where you were doing something on somebody that you're like, oh, this is just not the right part of the body, but they really want it. And you just felt like a high, like, just that extra.
I've done some really intricate. So I did. A lady came in. She wanted music bars around her whole thigh. Like it was I don't know if it was a full song. It was pretty close. It was big. It was like this wide all the way around.
Yeah.
And you got to figure. You take a straight line and you put a stencil on a thigh. It's not going to go around. So. It took me 3 hours just to draw on the tattoo, and then another 7 to tattoo it.
Wow.
And it was one of the hardest tattoos. While I'm doing it, I was stressed. I'm barely talking because I was hyper focused in it. But then afterwards, I'm like, that was freaking amazing. I had a lot of fun. And any tattoo after that, I was like, this is so easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what goes through your mind, like, in those moments? Like, do you have something that you, like, revert to like, try and keep yourself dialed in or relaxed, sort of, or, like, get rid of that stress when you're kind of, like, in, like, a high intense tattoo where you're like, oh, I'm really hoping they like this? And
oh yeah, I usually take a walk and do some breath practices, shake it out, scream into my hand, just get some release. And then when I do the tattoo, I just make sure that I focus on one specific area and don't pan out and try to look at the whole thing, because I'm going to be like overwhelmed. Yeah. And then my eyes will start going like this. But if I just focus on one area and keep working on these areas, before you know, it's just all connected and perfect.
How does mastering, like, tools and the technical side of it, how does that play a part to creativity within tattoos? Like, when it comes to actual, like, needles and the machine and everything?
Oh yeah, that's trial and error, and there's so many different types of machines out there. There's so many different brands of needles and inks. It just comes down to what I've tried so many different ones, and I always go back to the same machine. I've bought the pen machines, but I always go back to the Neotat. It's just like a rotary machine that I love. And and the same with the brand needles I use. I always go back to the same all the time. Yeah, it's just, I guess, what I'm comfortable with. Other people might not be, but I guess everyone just tattoos differently, faster, slower.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you say there is specific techniques that you use to stay in a creative flow during a long session or during a long tattoo?
Techniques, like personal techniques?
Yeah, like personal techniques or like certain things that you do to just kind of like, or like having moments of like just feeling like you're kind of outside looking in when you're trying to be really creative, whether it's like designing a tattoo before or actually in the middle of it. Like, do you have certain things that you kind of fall back on? Like, I would say like certain like rhythms of things. Like for myself, it's a very like to get into like a creative mode and just like to flow throughout a day, I have to like do specific things in the morning, or I have to like have my desk set up a certain way or clean or certain things like
No, I
that.
understand.
Is there certain things that like that kind of just like lock you in creatively?
Well, I am very meticulous. I set my station up the exact same way, and I've been doing it over 20 years the exact same way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the way that I draw, the way that I set the area up to draw, the time of day that I draw. Yeah, like it's all specific to me, and I get more in flow. And it definitely, like, before I know it, I've been drawing for, I mean, you're creative. Before you know it, you're in it for hours, you're in flow. And then I'm like, oh, I got to make sure I set my alarm sometimes to drink some water or stand up and move around. Yeah. I'm pretty similar as a lot of artists. I know we have our specific ways that we do things that if it's not that, like if something's moved the wrong way, I'm kind of out of balance a little bit and I have to bring myself back in before I get back in the flow. Yeah.
So you mentioned that thigh tattoo. Would you say that was one of the most technical ones that you've done?
No, I've done some
What would you say is like the most technical, like difficult wise tattoo that you've done?
Difficult tattoos.
I mean, if you've had
ribs.
some. Yeah.
Tattooing geometric shapes on someone's ribs that isn't symmetrical, because a rib isn't, it's got, it's beveled, it's got the movement, it's got, then while you're tattooing it, they lay down, they lift their arm, and then the tattoo stretches. And for some reason, still, you look at the line work that you know for a fact that you put on there straight when they're standing, but then they lift or move at all, and it moves the line work. And you got to keep reminding yourself, follow the line, follow the line. Sometimes I'll stop and be like, can you stand up really quick? Let me just make sure that didn't shift like it's like it does it on its own. No, it doesn't. Yeah. As long as you just follow the line. Yeah, and over time, you learn to, because that's a sensitive spot. So you're tattooing it, the skin's a little like thinner. It's harder for the person to sit still. They're breathing, but you learn to flow with them. And if they move, you take your foot off the treadle, and it, then it just becomes, I guess, muscle memory.
What's the? I feel like you might have already told me this during like a session, but like, what's the worst experience you've had tattooing, just in general? Maybe somebody moving, or like
people passing out. It doesn't happen often, but I've had people fully pass out, and just I don't enjoy it because I don't, we can't keep tattooing, first off. Yeah. And they always wake up really confused. And so when someone passes out and they get to that, like, it's like a cold sweaty. And if the stencils, usually the stencil is just gone because it kind of almost melts away from the sweat. So it makes it really difficult. Yeah. But other than that, like, it's not, I haven't really had overly too bad of experiences with tattooing people. I've had people jump. Like if one person from now on, I don't let people hold their phones. I make sure they keep them down, because I had someone on their phone and it fell and they chased after it as I was tattooing them, but I lifted up right in time and it didn't and I was just like, okay, nothing happened. Yeah. And it's not even about me hitting them with it. I don't want to stab myself too, right?
I think you probably just get that reflex over time. You're on the body already, and just the second they tense, you just know, you're like, oh, something's happening here.
Yeah. You learn to, like I said, muscle memory before you know it, because people jump, people move. There's involuntary twitches on certain parts of the body, the way that their body's like positioned. They'll just like twitch, and over time you just learn to. But over 20 years I've tattooed, I still haven't pulled the line up someone's arm because they moved or jumped.
Yeah, you've never made an unneeded mark.
No,
that's always good.
Yeah.
I see a lot of trends that come and go with tattoos, in terms of just like popular styles and stuff like that. How do you what's your take on that, on like trends as they come and go? Do you kind of like, do you just kind of do, is there ever like a tattoo? I guess what I'm asking is there ever a tat or a style or something, or ever a time that you would say no to somebody? Like you say, I'm not going to tattoo that.
Yes. The big trend now is the really micro realism, delicate fine line. So fine line, a thin line, I don't consider that fine line. Fine line is someone doing like a single needle or a really, really maybe a little bit bigger than that, but not fully in black. So it, like, I've seen them heal. They're kind of like a light gray, and then over time they just don't look right.
Yeah.
And then these little small micro realism pieces that it's only the last few years. So I'm just curious how it's going to look in 10, 20 years. I won't do those. But I do like thinner line tattoos because I think that it looks nice. I do like more of the bolder and the thinner, you know, the contrast together. It looks really good. But other than that, I'll just like, there's other artists out there that will do it. I'll turn things down. There's certain parts of the body I won't tattoo anymore either because they're extra difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you say there's trends that necessarily ruin tattoos, like ruin the kind of the artistry behind tattoos?
No, because everyone's perspective is so different. I don't feel like I'm not going to put my perspective and my judgment on people for what they want to get. Because, I mean, I've seen it all from like tramp stamps or coming back to tribal sleeves to, I mean, people are doing, now they're doing these full blackout, like body tattoos.
Yeah, I've been
and then putting
seeing
white
that
over it.
huge
So,
one, just
there's
full blackouts.
Yeah, and then tattooing white all over it, which is, I'm like, damn, it's kind of an interesting new trend going on. Yeah.
How do you build trust and collaboration with your clients when you're working on larger pieces, or you're working with clients that you know are going to be coming back to you time and time to continually grow a piece?
I just listen to them, treat them like a human, and have open conversation. When, you know, fully engage with them, when I'm sitting across from them or we're having a conversation, I actually don't just wait for my turn to talk. I actually am engaged and enjoy the conversation and making new friendships. Yeah, like it's an intimate experience. Like you're putting hands on someone for hours at a time, and I like to be conscious of that and make sure that they're getting the best experience they possibly can. And I reach out to them. I like to keep conversation and making sure the tattoo healed nice and see how they're doing. And yeah, it's nice. It's nice to build relationships. Yeah.
Yeah. Would you say relationships is a large part of being a tattoo artist, like a large part of the career?
My career, it is. I feel, I don't know if I can't say if all artists are like that, if they reach out to their clients, if they enjoy the conversations. But myself, it's a large part of the experience. The last few years, I fell madly back in love with tattooing again. I've always loved it, but I when I realized that, like, this is bringing some goodness to somebody, and you know, and they're looking at, in 20 years, they're gonna look at that and they're gonna be like, oh, I wonder what that person's doing, or like bring that part of their life back into view, right? And it's like you're leaving your mark on somebody, and I would like it to be, yes, a nice tattoo, but an amazing experience that they're gonna be like, yeah, that Jesse guy, he was a nice guy to be around, and he gave me a high five.
Yeah. Honestly, that's one of the biggest reasons why I came back to you after getting the first one. Was, I think for me, and I wouldn't say this is for a lot of people now, is I think being personable with people is a huge part of really any creative craft, and especially tattooing, like you say, when you're spending, you know, it's way more enjoyable to sit there and be able to have like a good conversation with someone for 3 hours as opposed to just sitting in silence or sitting on your phone. I think it makes the experience better, and it makes just getting the tattoo more of like a memory and more of like a good piece. Have you ever had times where like you try and you're like trying to be interactive with the client and they're just not there, like they just don't want to talk, or they tell you up front like, hey, I don't talk during tattoos?
I have a lot of clients because I'm a talker. I'll talk, and sometimes, but I can gauge a situation. If someone's not talking, I'm not going to just keep pressing them, right? Some people will put earbuds in. They don't want to talk at all. They just have their process. They want to zone out. Some people we'll start talking later, and then we'll have a conversation then. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just, you just gauge the situation. That it's different every single time.
Would you have like a favorite moment, like one moment over, I don't know, the last 5 years or something that's just like your favorite piece that you've done?
Oh,
Or that it just turned out so much better than you expected? Or
yeah, like a lot of tattoos I've been doing lately, I think I've been a lot less critical of myself with just all the self work that I've been doing on myself, and trying to steer away from the perfectionism, but still putting the best tattoo out I can, but stop critiquing myself and beating myself up about every little small thing, because you can always get better at everything, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
But it's part of the process of tattooing. Like, I'm not ever gonna stop learning, but I learned how to stop judging myself so much. And yeah, every tattoo I do, like, I'll find little things I'm like, okay, I could have done, or I would have put this a little flowing it this way, but it still looked good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll still critique myself enough, but not to the where I'm berating myself and beating myself
You're
up
using
around
it as a learning
Yeah.
experience to be like, I could have done that, but that's more now just what I can learn for the next one and develop and just keep getting better and better and better and better.
Yeah, and a lot of time we're expanding on the tattoo anyways, and we can always embellish it, and then I can change a little something on the tattoo the next time we go into it anyways, and it makes it a little better.
For sure.
Yeah.
And what's your favorite piece that you have that you like? Like, what's of the tattoo that you have? What would be like one of your favorites? Might be hard to decide.
Yeah. Like, I went through a phase when I first started getting tattooed that every tattoo had to have epic meaning and this grandiose like backstory, and it became really exhausting. And then I started just getting tattooed because I wanted to get tattooed, and then that was just, it represented a point in my life that I even look at some of them sometimes, I'm like, oh, and then it'll bring me back to the time of the music I was listening to, kind of my mind state in that time. So it's nice. I love all my tattoos. I have some crappy ones that I did on myself that are still there.
Yeah.
I have funny ones. I have, ones that have a lot of meaning. A lot of them are really old. I haven't been tattooed recently. I got a couple tattoos because my wife is like, you haven't been tattooed since we've been together. And I was like, oh yeah. So I got
maybe
a couple.
I should get one.
Yeah, I got a couple. But I got a lot of tattoos really quick.
Yeah.
Like a couple 100 hours in probably 3 or 4 years. And I was like, I can take a break. And then
would you say you're running out of space, or you still got a good amount?
I have a pretty good amount. I still I'm probably like 75%, 70% covered. Yeah. Like, I still have some real estate, but there's places I'm not going to do that I'm glad I didn't jump right in. I'm not going to get my hands done. I was at one point, I was really close to getting a mandala like on the outside of my ear coming onto the face. I'm glad I didn't do that. Yeah. Like, I don't knock it when I see people with them, because I was like, I was going to do it, but I'm glad that I'm limiting and like keeping some skin, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in the same boat as I start to get more, and as I goes, I'm just trying to think all the places. Because at one point I was like, oh, I'm never gonna get my hand done, and then I got the ring, and I was like, oh man, it hurt, but it looks so sick. And I'm like, if a ring can look so sick, then I'm like, a whole hand one could look insane. And so, I mean, I have the whole idea, like I've told you, to continue this one all the way down the hand, all the way up, a little bit up the neck, maybe a little onto the chest. So
yeah, I figured that one would go onto the hand a little bit.
It'll
maybe not a full hand, but
not
like
a full
just
hand, but I think just maybe down the one finger and the thumb a little bit, like just kind of have it that continuous. Yeah. And but yeah, I feel like for me, tattoos has always been. I think it's simple because some people in my family too are like, oh, that's stupid. Like, why would you spend your money on that? Some people, most of all my siblings and I all have tattoos. Our dad's not too big of a fan. But it's always interesting because he'll be like, oh, you spend money on a tattoo again. But he has, I would say it's like a hobby. It's like, in a way, it's like a hobby, but something that's like an art that you get to keep on you kind of for the rest of your life and always look back on it. Like the one that I got here that I had you again redesign it was from a photo that I took on a trip out west. So for me, that's like, there's so much meaning to that. Which I think most of mine have some meaning, except my office themed one and a little bit of that
one though.
This one's just, I just loved it. And,
But yeah, if there was somebody listening and they're like wanting to get into it, well, they're wanting to get into the craft of tattoo, what would be your best piece of advice for them? The best starting point?
Just draw every possible thing, and don't stress so much about the tattooing part of it. Try to get an apprenticeship. I mean, there's so many shops out there. Yeah. Just find an artist that you connect with, find an artist that you like the way that they tattoo, and learn from them. And yeah, hopefully you don't learn bad habits, and just grind, do the work. And yeah, just mostly just draw. That's the main thing. Draw. Cause that's what you're going to do during an apprenticeship. Is first year, you probably won't even touch a machine. You'll just be drawing, setting up, drawing, repeat.
What would be like a bad habit that would just pop into your head right away that you've seen people do, or you see a common one?
Bad habits in tattooing?
Yeah.
For like someone to learn? Just learning from someone that doesn't properly know how to tattoo. Because I know that some people are learning like from, tattoo schools, or just, learning off YouTube. And they're, one of the biggest things I recommend for people if they're learning is to watch, to sit. And yes, draw. But if you're artist that's teaching you, just sit and watch them, ask questions, watch. Because before you know it, you without realizing it, you'll start understanding, oh, that's why they're moving their hand like that. You don't even need to ask a question. If you're watching someone for 30 hours do a line, you're going to be like, that's why they do that. And then you can kind of mimic that, right? So
yeah, that's cool. I love it. Well, thank you again for being on this week. I appreciate it. And that was a fantastic conversation, and I'm sure I'll see you soon for another tattoo, definitely. Probably very soon. That. So
thank you again.
Yeah, of course. And we'll see you guys on the next one.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today on Coffee and Creatives. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.